Okay, so now all we need to do is mirror, and I'm going to select this piece, and I'm going to select the mirror plane, and I'm going to click next. Don't worry about this window, just click OK. And if we try and move this now, we'll see it's already stuck in place. Okay, and we can go to our menu here, and we can select our part, and we've got these mate commands in here, but we never mated this, we never did any constraints. Well, what's happened when it's mirrored this one, it's also mirrored these mate commands as well. Okay, so it's done that for us, it's saved us the work. And this is kind of a benefit of keeping things neat and working symmetrically, because it allowed us to do that. Okay, so now I'm just going to mirror this other side, and what might happen here is it might not mirror the constraints. Okay, so yeah, for some reason in Inventor, I'm not quite sure, I think it's when it's already mirrored a set of constraints, it doesn't like doing it again. So when we mirrored this, we mirrored the constraints on this side, and it hasn't, this time it hasn't done it. It's mirrored the part, okay, but there's no constraints associated with it. It's just an Inventor thing. It just means we're going to add them manually, so it's not a big deal. We've got a mate constraint mating that side. And remember, I'm holding down Shift and middle button to do this, kind of rotating my window around. And then we'll constrain flush, flush, constrain, flush, flush. Okay. And there we have a nice four-sided box, completely symmetrical around our planes. So not only have we done a simple assembly, it's also done with some good practice there as well. But it'd be pretty useless as a box because everything would just fall out. There's no bottom to it. So we'll make a bottom to our box now. And sometimes when you're building assemblies, in the real world you would usually build all the parts and put it together. With Inventor, a lot of the time you're coming up with ideas, you're designing things you're going to build, so you do find yourself working how we're working now, which is putting a few things together and then measuring for something else you need. So now all we need to do now is go to Tools and Measure, and we can see the base of our box needs to be 400. Okay, so when we go Measure, we can click on a line, which is 400, or we can measure between two faces, such as that, 320. So we know our base is 400 by 320. So we can go to New, and it's a part file, standard part file in millimeters, create. We'll do a sketch on here. We'll do a center point rectangle, and we're going to make it 400, tab 320. Okay, zoom out. There we go. And then finish the sketch. We'll extrude this, and this is just going to be 2 millimeters thick. It's just a base. Actually, let's make it 3 millimeters. Okay, and we'll just save this straight away as box base. We can then go back to our assembly, and I've just noticed now it's called assembly 1 because we haven't saved it yet. So first thing I'm going to do is save this, and an assembly file will be .iam. Okay, so let's do this. I'm going to call this basic box 01. Okay, now when you click save on an assembly, you'll come up with this big list here, and what this basically is saying is, do you also want to save each individual part file? It might be you've made edits to different parts inside your assembly, we'll get onto that later, but Generally these should all be yes, and you just click OK. Certainly for now, that's how it should come up. So now we'll go to Assemble and we'll go to Place. Okay, and we're looking for our box base, which is there. Okay, so we open that and we bring it in. And we right click OK, and you'll see our work plane's changed. The work plane generally covers everything, the origin, so it's just expanded it from where we brought it in. There's nothing to worry about. So now we're going to go constrain, and we want this surface to be on there. Okay. And then we want to constrain, and we'll make this edge here, the shorter edge, flush with the shorter edge here. Okay. So now we only have 1 degree of freedom, and we will constrain that face there. Okay. So now, if we spin it around, we can see we have our box. Now, one thing it's something Inventor does a lot, and I've realised it's done it now, is we're kind of a bit mixed up here in terms of what is top and what is back and front and things like that. That's not a problem. We can just go to that face should be the front. We can pull this down and we can set current view as front. Okay, and now we've got our top, our front and our sides. Okay, so now our box has a base and it has a top. So we could also use the base as a lid. But it's not much of a lid. So I'm going to open, I want to open the base. I want the lid to be thicker basically. So what we can do, instead of trying to work out which file is which and open it from the open menu, we can select a part here, right click and click on open, and it will open it up for us. Okay, so now I want to save as box, I'll call it box top 01. No, just box top. Okay, and the only thing I'm going to do with this is I'm going to first make sure we're in the correct file, which we are. So I'm going to right click the extrusion, go to edit feature. I'm just going to change this. I want this to be 10 millimeters, same as the sides, and I'm going to click OK and then save that, and we can close it. And now we can place box top and just do the same process we did really with the base. Okay, so I'm going to make the short side flush, and again the short side flush, and there we go. So now we have our box. So that is your first assembly, and it's just a wooden box. Okay, so I'm going to save this, and there you go. In the next lesson we're going to take this box, which is a bit too basic to be honest, and we're going to refine it. We're going to make it more into a box you would build in the real world. So it's going to have proper joints, it's going to have a proper lid, etc. Because at the moment it is as basic as it gets, and it'll probably just fall apart if you put anything in it. So in the next lesson we'll refine this a bit, and we'll learn some more commands.